Now, Alistair, that is fascinating, isn't it? Because until now, for the last few hours, we were on the understanding that no contact had been made, which would lead people to think the worst. But now it appears that they have been in contact, which is a big development.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that for the first time as you read it. And I think, on the face of it, that sounds like a really significant development. Now, my immediate thoughts are, what sort of contact? Is that contact over radio channels, or is that contact verbal contact, shouting at one another? I think what is sort of the key thing I took from that is, I forget the exact words you said, but contact's been made several times. Now, that doesn't mean that contact was made once and then lost again. That suggests that whoever they have made contact with is alive, or at least able to communicate in some form. So that is really, really significant, and suggests that there could be survivors, but also perhaps they are pretty close to where the crash site is, which again would be a moment of hope. So that, and we'll see how that develops, but that does sound very significant, and I think sort of contrary to really the tone of the news that we've been hearing so far, which has been largely pessimistic.
Yeah, and also that slightly strange wording that we heard when news broke of this incident, that there was a hard landing. Now, clearly, that could mean all manner of things, couldn't it? But perhaps it's not a case of the helicopter flying in fog into the side of a mountain, but it actually did manage to land in some shape or form, and some people on board have survived.
Yeah, I mean, a hard landing, normally when you talk about helicopters as opposed to fixed-wing aircraft planes, a hard landing with the helicopters tends to suggest that the pilots did not have full control. It is often read as being a euphemism for it crashed. Now, what we read into it as the language changed over the hours was that it was a crash, but the phrase hard landing was used to try and reduce the immediacy of the news, or reduce the sort of the severity of the news in the immediate hours after it happened. But if contact has been made with people on the helicopter, maybe there was something controlled about it. And again, we are really just we are guessing here because there is a very limited information. Maybe it was that the pilot, in such severe weather conditions, decided to try and bring the helicopter down in some sort of fashion for safety. We don't know, but I would go back to this comment you can see on the black banner at the bottom of the screen, contact made with people on the helicopter. Yeah, that also raises an awful lot of questions, but what it does do is give some hope that some of those on board have survived.